to Mishnah Tess. The Mishnah now says, from where do we know that there is this din that you have to have responsibility until you reach the Har HaBayis, the Temple Mount? The Mishnah says, "Minayin shu chayav ba'achriyuson ad sheyovi l'Har HaBayis." Where do we know this rule that if you have lose them before you get to the Beis HaMikdash and the Temple Mount, then you have to replace them, like we said before, even though they may not have the same kedusha as original Bikurim. Still, since you're chayav b'achrayus, you have to find replacements. But once you've reached the Har HaBayis, you are then exempt, even if you haven't actually performed the rest of the mitzvah regarding the Bikurim. So the answer is because Shenema Reishes Bikurei Ad Moscho Tovi Beis Hashem Elokecho. The pasuk says the first of your Bikurim of your land you must bring to the house of Hashem your God. You've got to bring it to the Beis HaMikdash. Melamed, this teaches us Shu Chayav Ba'achriyusam Ad Sheyovi l'Har HaBayis. The Beis Hashem Elokecho is the Beis HaMikdash. The Beis HaMikdash is situate on the Har HaBayis, and we know that there are different degrees of Kedusha for the different parts of the Beis HaMikdash, the Kodesh Kodeshim, of course, being the most holy, and the Kodeshim being next. But if at the beginning of Mesechus Kelim it tells you about the Eser Kedushas, there's no doubt about the Har HaBayis has a Kedusha, and we know that because today we who have got the Cheskes Tumah, we cannot even walk onto the Har HaBayis. When you're in Yerushalayim, you've got to stand behind the western wall, and you're not even allowed to go onto the Har HaBayis at all. That's because the Har HaBayis has a specific Kedusha, which is not as high as the Beis HaMikdash itself, but it's still high enough to be considered as part of the Beis Hashem Elokecho. And the Mishnah tells us, Melamed shu chayav b'achriyuson ad sheyovi l'Har HaBayis. Until you reach Har HaBayis, you're chayav, but after that you've done your duty and then you're exempt. Hare shehevi mimin echod b'koro. Another situation is if a person were to bring his bikurim from one min and he made his kriya, v'choza v'hevi mimin acher, and then he made a second journey with other payers. Occurs another example of not having to do the kriya. In fact, we just discussed this in Mishnah Zayin before, above, where we said that if a person brought bikurim and then another person bought the land from him, according to Rabbi Yehuda, they could bring a complete new kriya. So this Mishnah clearly does not go like Rabbi Yehuda, because the new person could be able to bring the bikurim, and he could make the kriya, unless we say that this Mishnah is trying to tell us the chiddush that even the original owner cannot do a kriya on a second type of fruit. In fact, in the Rishalmi, in fact, it mentions that this particular part of the Mishnah specifically to tell us the chiddush of Rabbi Yehuda, that even though he disagrees with Tanna Kama and says that the two people can make this a kriya over the same piece of land because they're two completely different people and of different ownerships, even he will agree that the same person cannot make a kriya over a second min. So that if he brought grapes first and did the kriya, even Rabbi Yehuda, who says that you could have two different kriyas by two different people on the same land, he would agree that one person simply cannot make two kriyas, and therefore the Mishnah was a chiddush according to him. Others say that the chiddush is even according to Chachomim, that although he's brought from one min, the lokeach who brought from a different min, then he can do the kriya. So this is a chiddush according to Chachomim as well, that if the second person brought from a different min, then he could do the kriya, as we said in the Mishnah Zayin. It says there in the min acher mevi v'korei, the new person can do that, but from the same min it cannot be brought. So there's a little bit of discussion as to exactly who this Mishnah is trying to teach us a special chidush. The halacha being that you cannot have two kriyas by one man under any circumstances, even from a different min. That seems to be the conclusion of that Mishnah.